everybody, and welcome to the Bob Stoops app. I'm Brad McMullen along with Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops. It is week number 2, and it's time for Michigan and Oklahoma in prime time on ABC.
I love it. I mean, these are the games you love for college football, for our fan base, for Michigan's fan base. And, you know, through the years, we played a lot of these games. I know we had one or two on the schedule every single year. I know Joe Castiglione and Kenny Mossman would come ask me before they okayed it, you know, if I'm good with playing like a Michigan. We played everyone, Florida State, Miami. One year we had Alabama and UCLA out of conference.
Yeah, so Tennessee, Ohio State.
Exactly. We've had them all. And
Alabama when they were not a conference foe.
That's right. So it's, you know, that's what you want. And I had the opinion, once we won the national championship in 2000, and then we played for 3 more inside of, 8 years, that if you're one of those, if you're a big dog or if you're a blue blood, you play others that are the same. And our fan base, I know, loved it. They got to travel to some great places to play, Tennessee, Columbus, you know, Alabama. You see all those other atmospheres. So, you know, we're one of those, and to me, you know, that's you schedule those games when you can. Now, being in the SEC now, it's a little bit different. I would think if I'm the coach, with the schedule we have, if I'd have known what our SEC schedule was going to look like, and from what they say, depending on how different years, it could lighten up a little bit, depending on, you know, who you're playing. You know, that's a different story, but anyway, it's an exciting game and everyone's looking forward to it.
Yeah, Bob Stoops in 2007 said, if you want to be the best, you've got to play the best. And that goes along with your scheduling
That's the
philosophy.
Truth. No, we just felt that way. If we're a top 5 program, why shouldn't we play top 10, 15 people, on our out-of-conference schedule?
All right, so the game features the winningest program in history, Michigan, versus the team who's won more games since World War II, Oklahoma. And this is going to be a classic matchup where the coaches know each other. Sharon Moore, an OU grad who played under you. Of course, Brent Venables, your defensive coordinator, now the head coach.
And played under me at Kansas State.
That's right.
Where I was the D coordinator, co-coordinator with. So anyway, they're both great people. Love them both. I mean, Sharon was a great teammate. Wasn't a full-time starter, but he could jump in and start for anybody on 2-3 different positions, and you knew you were going to get good quality play. Good player, smart guy, and just good humble person. And Brent Venables, the same thing. Just a great person. Always loved being around him, and you know, obviously at Oklahoma, I'm rooting for him hard, and I truly believe in him. He knows how to coach, and he's building his culture. And let's keep giving him an opportunity to do so.
Obviously, the coaches with Sooner roots in this contest, but it comes down to the players. John Mateer last week broke Baker Mayfield's debut yards total with 392 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He looked good running. He looked good passing.
Yeah, I love it, and it doesn't surprise me. John has a lot of experience on the field, and I get it. I don't want to hear, well, it wasn't on the field with SEC teams. If you're on the field having success, that matters. And I don't care at what level or where. And he's played enough good football teams, you know, out there on the West Coast too at Washington State. So he's got excellent experience, and that matters at a quarterback position. And he's played it well. Not just, you know, he's played it, you know, the last couple of years very well. He's in a system that he's comfortable with Ben Arbuckle. So, calling the plays and the offensive coordinator. So I just think it's going to continue. He's going to continue to play well.
On the other side of the ball, you got Bryce Underwood, who was the #1 recruit in the country. Longtime commitment to LSU. Flipped to go to Michigan. He's 6'4". He's 230 pounds. A true freshman. And he looked like a superstar last week.
Yeah, I have to admit, wasn't able to catch the game last week, but it sounds like he played really well. Not surprising. One of the top recruits out of last year's class. Big, strong guy, as you said. So they'll be able to run the football with him as well, which is always a little more difficult. But again, you just got to hope, you know, for Oklahoma's sake, that the inexperience in coming in here in a big game, hopefully there can be a couple of hiccups, that turnovers, whatever it might be, that give you that maybe the inexperience you can take advantage of, hopefully.
Yeah, and Underwood just recently celebrated his 18th birthday. He is a young kid out there. Last week he threw for 252 yards. Why does that matter? That's more yards than any quarterback at Michigan threw last year already in his first start.
Yeah, maybe Sharon Moores wants to throw the football a little bit as opposed to, they've always been so good and excellent at running the football. So, they may loosen it up a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see with our defensive line and their offensive line how the run game is handled, and even us. Can you run the football? And then if it comes down to passing, if then we'll see which quarterback can be more effective.
All right, let's talk about some of those key matchups. Of course, on defense, Oklahoma needs to stop the run. They've got experience at the defensive line. Many people believe the best defensive line in the country. We really couldn't tell a lot with an FCS opponent last week on the defensive side, but they were impressive.
Yeah, and that's what you hope that's true, that we have one of the top few defensive lines in the country. And this is going to be a big game to find that out. And if they can control the line of scrimmage, that's Michigan's bread and butter. I don't care how much they threw for a year ago. Last game, they want to run the football, and that'll be a big deal. And I know, Brent, Coach Venables, that he's a stickler on defending the run game. So hopefully our guys can rise up, and they are what everyone thinks they are. And if they are, that'll be a big factor in the game.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma in this game for that specific reason. OU wants the offense to run the football, and that's exactly what Michigan's going to try to do on Saturday night.
Yeah, and hopefully when Bryce Underwood does go back to pass, that they can contain him, doesn't get loose, run, and be able to run the football. And then hopefully he can make a mistake or two and we can take advantage of it.
On the offensive side of the ball, it was running back by committee last week for OU. Jaden Ott really didn't get a shot. Brent Venables says you're going to see a lot of Jaden Ott on the field on Saturday night.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to say they're all really good, and which is great. I love DeMarco Murray as the running back coach. He understands what it takes, and he understands what we want. So I trust those guys, that whoever's hot, you get a guy that's hot and really feeling it, keep them in there. But what is nice is you're able to rotate guys and they don't get too beat up or worn down for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and look at what Blaylock did as a true freshman last week. That guy's got dynamo talent carrying the football.
I know it, and was exciting to see. Mm-hmm. You could just tell the burst, the speed, the vision, had some great cuts. So anyway, hopefully that all continues.
Now last year we had some injury problems at wide receiver, obviously, and also on the offensive line. A couple linemen out last week. We're supposed to get 2 back, but at least 1 will be missing. That's got to be a factor, but OU does have talent on the offensive line.
Definitely. The offensive line, I just hope, are we talking?
OU's offensive line.
Yeah. That some new faces in there, but again, I'm just such a fan of Bill Bedenbaugh. He's gonna whip those guys into shape. We got some young guys at tackle that hopefully are what we think they are, and it'll show in this game. Yeah. And if our O-line can protect and can create some space running football, this will be a big test.
And of course, people that watched the scrimmages during fall camp said the offensive line was battling the defensive line very, very well. We're finally going to get to see some of those young guys that missed last week. I think that's going to be big for the run game.
Yeah, and getting a few guys back makes a big difference. So, yeah, I just I'm excited to see it, and this will be a huge test for that line.
All right, College Game Day is here. It's the primetime ABC Game of the Week. It's 2 marquee names. This is why you love college football. Coach, the point spread right now, 5 points. Oklahoma favored. Do you like the Sooners in this game?
I do. I just feel we're, one of these big games here. Fans are ready for it. I believe, the coaches and players are. And I believe it'd be somewhat of a come-out game, here for this era of winning this big game at home can really light a fire under us for the rest of the season. I really think it can, and hopefully that'll happen. But some of these games, when you win them here early, really do boost you going into conference play.
Yeah, I agree. I love Oklahoma in this game because it's at home, because this is Bryce Underwood's second start. I think that matters with Brent Venables calling the defense. And the defense didn't pressure at all. There were no blitzes last week. I think you're going to see a lot of pressure this week. I think you're going to see a lot of controlled gap by the defensive line. I like Oklahoma in this game.
Yeah, I do too. And again, well, you brought up a good point. They were very vanilla in how they played last week. And I think both sides of the ball. I do believe there's some wrinkles offensively. And why show them? This has been Arbuckle's first year here. And I know they could watch tape from where he's been at Washington State. But you can't tell me from when he left there to now there aren't some different wrinkles. And that they worked in the spring, they worked in the summer camp. And hopefully they'll be able to make a difference. If they have some wrinkles, which I'm sure they do, will make a difference in this game.
Yeah, and we hope the crowd is a difference as well. So go to the game and be loud. All right, let's talk about the other games out there. Arizona State at Mississippi State. Arizona State, of course, went to the college football playoff, won the Big 12 last year. Their first game of the year, though, they didn't look very good. Number 12 in the country. Mississippi State is an underdog at home by 7 points.
Well, that's interesting, and I think it's Jeff Lebby, what he's doing there at Mississippi State, and they look good in their first game. But man, Arizona State, they're so impressive last year. But I think everyone in these early games, it's like all the rankings last week were all about last year.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with Jeff Lebby just because he was here with us and always liked being around him. Thought he did an awesome job here. So I'm going to go with them. Be start of maybe a turning point for them.
Yeah, I see Arizona State winning the game, but I don't see them winning by 7 points on the road with all those cowbells going crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's going to be another great one. All right, Alabama. That's right. Alabama, what a lot of people thought would be in the national title hunt. Boy, oh boy, Florida State hit them in the mouth last week on both sides of the ball. This was not a fluke. This was not special teams play.
No.
This was Florida State dominating Alabama, and a quarterback that talked the talk and walked the walk. He said, we're going to run all over them, and they did.
You got to give it to him. I said last week on this app that I'm going to have to see it first before I start to go with Florida State. After losing every game last year, like something was wrong. Well, they fixed it. And
they did.
You got to give it to them. I watched the game, and I was thoroughly impressed. Both sides of the ball, line of scrimmage, running the football. So, yeah, they were strong, and they did it. You don't see many teams push Alabama around, and they did. So give it to them, and I think that's going to fuel them.
Yeah.
So I'll be picking Florida State now.
I agree with you. All right, so Alabama is going to be at home against the University of Louisiana Monroe. They are a 37-point favorite in this game. Boy, oh boy, that's a lot of points. But they're probably a little upset.
I guarantee you they're upset. but I don't know that they can. 37 points is a lot. And then second half you want to play some backup players, and things sometimes get, a little out of whack. And so I would take the points.
Yeah, I'm taking the points. Remember, ULM beat Nick Saban in his first year. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Ole Miss at Kentucky taking on the brothers Stoops. Last year, Kentucky cost Ole Miss a chance to play in the college football playoff. Do they do it again?
Is it at Ole Miss?
It is at Kentucky.
At Kentucky. I'm taking Kentucky. My brothers are there. Heck, you know that. And what's the line?
10 points.
Oh, wow. Definitely Kentucky.
Absolutely, yeah. And Kentucky looked good last week.
That's
you got to say that they looked a lot better, and I think there's a lot of attention to detail, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, hopefully, they feel it. I know, talking to my brothers, that they're a better team this year, and hopefully, they come out, play a big game at home. That would be a big boost for them.
Yeah, going to be an exciting one. All right, Oklahoma State at Oregon. Oklahoma State looked absolutely awful last year. Let's just put it simple. They were terrible. This year, there's been a lot of talk. Gundy says, hey, Oregon bought their team. We have a team that's much cheaper on the payroll, and it appears the odd makers agree, as Oregon is favored by 29 points at home.
Wow. Did I hear right? Did Oklahoma State lose their quarterback though last
They did,
week?
yes, sir.
Well, then if that wasn't the case, I'd take Oklahoma State, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I haven't followed it close enough. I should. I like Mike a lot, but what the quarterback situation is like. And I love Doug Meacham, the new O coordinator. Yeah. I think he's awesome. I think he's an excellent coach. I'm rooting for him, but I don't. At Oregon, man, that's going to be tough without your guy you've had all, through camp as your starter.
Yeah, and Oregon looked really good in week 1. Oklahoma State, when their quarterback went out, they just did not look as good on the offensive side of the ball. I'll say this for Oklahoma State. I think you're going to lose, but only by 28 points. So we'll take the spread on that. Let's be optimistic. All right, a game that this guy cares a lot about because he played at Iowa. We're talking about Iowa at Iowa State. Iowa State, for some reason, only ranked 16th in the country. I think they're a top 10 team right now. They're playing on all cylinders. They won overseas. They won here. Right. What are your thoughts on this game?
They play so well. John Haycock, their D coordinator, excellent in what he does. Rocco Becht, I think, is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Smart how they play. They don't try and win big or fancy. They run the ball. They throw it. They don't make mistakes, and that's Coach Campbell, their head coach. It must be from him. How they play. They know how to win in those tight games, or they go into the fourth quarter. But so does Iowa. So it's my alma mater. Phil Parker, their defensive coordinator, is one of the best in the country, and everyone says that, and it's true. I've watched him forever. Does an incredible job. So I got to go with Iowa. I don't know who's favored. I imagine Iowa State is.
Iowa State is favored at home by 3.5 points. So
yeah, which is basically a pick 'em.
That's exactly right.
And because of Iowa's defense overall, they may give Rocco Becht a little bit of a headache. Who knows? But normally I would go with the best quarterback, which is Rocco. But just because it's my alma mater, I'm going Iowa.
You got to pick Iowa in this one. Well, it makes you feel any better. When these two teams play, if Iowa State is usually the higher-ranked team, Iowa usually comes out on top. So this should be a great, great game. Again, I think Iowa State is really good. But for some reason, when they play this game, it's always a nail-biter.
Yeah, Iowa has won it overall in the last 15 years. I'm not sure what the record is, but I know it's well in favor of Iowa.
All right, let's go to our final pick-em this week. Illinois at Duke. Illinois ranked number 11. Only favored by 3 points on the road at Duke.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Bielema has done a great job at Illinois. Had a great year last year. So I'm going to go with Illinois, just that they'll continue to build as they did a year ago.
I agree. I think Illinois is a much better team this year, and I think they're going to win this one on the road and can keep the winning along. And speaking of winning, this guy picked every game except for Florida State last week. I mean,
really?
That's pretty impressive.
We have to start. I'm going to have to start keeping up with that.
We'll have to keep track on that.
Yeah, right? That'd be interesting to see if we're doing any good.
You like Arch Manning, but you went with Ohio State. You're right on that one. So
yeah, Florida State, I just needed to see them. They were so bad a year ago, but good for them. I mean,
what a difference quarterback play makes, right?
No question, quarterback play, but both lines of scrimmage. I mean, they were really strong. So good for them.
Yeah, but nobody picked as well as Lee Corso did. Of course, Lee finished his run on College Game Day last week. I know you love Lee Corso. How cool was it for him? All the teams that he played with or coached with won last week. Including Florida State against Alabama.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Lee's been great for college football, provided a ton of entertainment. Wonderful guy, wonderful person. So good for him. It's been great of him to share that with us all these years, and wish him the best in his retirement here from ESPN and College Game Day. So, in fact, I just spoke at the Orange Bowl luncheon this couple of days ago here on a Tuesday this week, and I met his granddaughter. And her last name was Corso, and she took a picture with me, and I said, be sure to make sure, Coach, your grandfather sees that picture, and I said hello.
Amen. Of course,
yeah,
Coach
wish him the best.
He'll be watching from Orlando, Dr. Phillips area. Of course, Game Day will be here in Norman, Oklahoma, as Oklahoma will be hosting Michigan. It's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, for videos anytime, just tap on our video link. For Hall of Fame football coach Bob Stoops, I'm Brad McMullen.